That's right, the Crypt Keeper has gone Hollywood, and we're covering his big screen debut, Demon Knight, in today's Horror Geek Review. Directed by Ernest Dickerson and released in 1995, Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight marks the first time HBO's venerable horror anthology series made the jump from TV to the silver screen. A potent mix of horror and comedy, with a fantastic cast, solid premise, and excellent practical effects, Demon Knight has come to be regarded as one of the more underrated genre offerings of the 1990s. We'll talk more about why Demon Knight is one of the decade's best horror offerings later in the review, but for now, let's get to the plot breakdown. The film opens with William Sadler out for a nice quiet drive through the credits. Or maybe it's not so quiet. A bald Billy Zane is riding his ass and Sadler's out of gas. It's like a slightly less interesting version of Spielberg's Duel. Wait, I take that back. Sadler's got a shotgun. I'll teach you about riding my bumper with your high beams on. The plan backfires though, and now he's trapped in his own car. Damn you childproof locks! Sadler survives the crash, then notices he's got an awesome smiley face tattoo on his hand before limping off into the night. He winds up in WORMWOOD, New Mexico, which isn't just a cool sounding name, it's part of the Book of Revelation and deals with the end of the world. Could that be foreshadowing? What do you think? He sets out to steal a new ride, but he's busted by a boy.
Are you stealing my daddy's car?
Stealing? No, I was testing the lock.
We've got our first Dick Miller sighting. Dick Miller was a genre film legend who passed away earlier in 2019. A veteran character actor, he's one of those guys you might not know by name, but you definitely know by face. He's just one of many great character actors in this film. Seriously, Demon Knight is like a who's who of character actors. Next we learn that Dick Miller is the best kind of drunk, the kind who shares. Hey man, I said a taste, not the whole bottle. Billy Zane, meanwhile, is meeting the cops. I love that he's wreathed in flames. Very subtle movie, but not as subtle as this. Willie leads William Sadler to a hotel/halfway house. His tattoo voices its approval. Inside, we get to meet the cast. There's the prostitute with a heart of gold named Cordelia.
Hey, maybe I should give him a freebie.
Stern hotel owner Irene.
If I hadn't made a place for her, she'd be behind bars or dead.
And Geraldine, played by Jada Pinkett before she became the Fresh Princess of Bel-Air through a royal marriage.
And the concierge will bring up your bags momentarily.
The interior of the hotel was built in an abandoned air hangar in Southern California. This allowed the production to shoot at any time of the day, even though most of the story takes place at night. This guy Wally with the tale of woe is actually Charles Fleischer, who provided Roger Rabbit's voice. I told you this movie was filled with character actors. And then we meet Roach, who really lives up to his name. Thomas Haden Church is fantastic.
Hey, if it makes you feel good, do it.
Honestly, at this point, this doesn't feel so much like a movie as a character actor convention. Not that I'm complaining or anything. Next thing you know, Billy Zane and the cops arrive, so now the movie can kick into high gear. Oh, and we learn that William Sadler's name is Breaker.
Well, Mr. Breaker.
Zane tells the cops that Breaker has stolen something from him, and they take him into custody. The cops then toss the place looking for Zane's stolen key, and they find Cordelia and Roach upstairs in one of the film's more shocking scenes.
My nipples are smoking.
Look, it's Tales from the Crypt. I'm contractually obligated to work in a few stupid puns. Uncle Willie eventually hands over the key. Notice that it has stars, just like Breaker's hand tattoo. Everything looks to be coming up Millhouse for Billy Zane, which means this movie might be over in about another 5 minutes. But then the cops arrest him too, and Zane's nice guy facade drops.
Why wait?
Billy Zane putting his fist through the cop's head will always be one of my favorite moments from this film. That's just good practical effects work. Too bad about the sheriff though, he really had a good head on his shoulders. Breaker burns Billy Zane, who's simply known as the Collector, with the key, which sends him flying out of the window and straight into one of the film's most memorable sequences.
Fuck this cowboy shit! You fucking ho-dunk, po-dunk, well then there, motherfuckers!
Billy Zane just runs with this role, and Demon Knight is a better film for it.
This property is hereby condemned.
Horror movies really loved glow stick liquid in the 1980s and 90s. This demon birth scene always reminds me of Frank returning from the dead in Clive Barker's Hellraiser. Originally, there were 2 versions of this script. In one, there are no demons. Billy Zane has a demonic army of Bible salesmen. Seriously. The production decided you couldn't have a movie called Demon Knight with no demons, and common sense won out in the end. Personally, I think the demons look great. As the battle rages, we learn that the demons can be killed by shooting them in the eyes. This is interesting because screenwriters Ethan Reif and Cyrus Voris would later write Fox's short-lived series Brimstone. There were numerous parallels between Demon Knight and the show, including the fact that demons had to be shot in the eyes to stop them. Breaker can seal the house's entry points with the red liquid in the key, which, you have to admit, is pretty useful. With the entrances sealed off, the film now becomes a siege movie. The humans are trapped inside while the demons try to gain entry. It's basically like Night of the Living Dead meets Rio Bravo, only with way more hellspawn. Don't look now, but it's a flashback. Breaker sees 3 men crucified, a human, and some creepy-looking demons. Just whose blood is in that key? Back in modern day, we learn that Roach is definitely an asshole. You know, just in case you weren't sure. After that, Billy Zane whispers sweet nothings in Cordelia's ear.
Poor Cordelia. Seems downright criminal to treat such a pretty girl that way.
Wally finally gets his kiss, but Cordelia isn't Cordelia anymore.
Shoot them both!
Man, she looks rough without her makeup. During the course of the fight, Irene informs everyone that she's a big Hemingway fan and that her favorite book is A Farewell to Arms. That's gonna leave a mark. Things then calm down, and Breaker and the hotel's residents find a secret mine path out of the hotel. They decide to explore the escape route against Breaker's advice. Bad move. Hey, don't destroy the ship, Lap. Haven't you watched Fixer Upper? That stuff's worth its weight in gold. We're then treated to another flashback where, just in case you didn't know, we learn the stuff in the key is the blood of Jesus, and that it's really effective at hurting demons. If you guessed the demons already found the mine pathway, give yourself a screenwriter's credit. Our side trip down here does serve one purpose. Our group of survivors gains a new member, the young kid who caught Breaker trying to steal the car earlier in the film. The crew escapes from the mine, and things seem okay, at least until Roach screws it all up.
This is for 4 years of minimum wage, you asshole.
Nice work, Roach. The demons are now inside the hotel, forcing our survivors into the upper levels of the building. Oh, and they're low on ammo.
Hey, Bob. How we fixed for ammo?
Not too good. Yeah, I'm down to 4.
This seems like a good time for another flashback. This one takes place in World War I and shows us how Breaker got the key. I gotta tell ya, I really love how much effort these guys put into the backstory. The mythology behind Demon Knight is really rich and detailed. The script actually predates the HBO series and kicked around Hollywood for years, with directors like Mary Lambert and Tom Holland attached at various points before the Tales team decided it fit nicely in their anthology film format. With the flashback over, Breaker gives us more exposition about just what exactly is going on.
What happens when you run out of blood?
They bring back the darkness. You feel better?
No, not really. That's a terrifying story. Roach then doubles down on being an asshole and steals the key, while Danny the kid goes missing. Kids, man. With everyone split up and distracted, Billy Zane makes his move for Geraldine. This whole thing basically looks like Ernest Dickerson was auditioning to make a Tony Braxton video. We cut back to the others, who find Willie and the kid hiding in the attic.
I forgot all about this place.
How do you forget you have an attic? Now it's Willie's turn to get a visit from the collector. His secret fantasy involves a lot of boobs and booze, and I'm not showing you that because I'm way too lazy to blur out all the boobs. While exploring the attic, Irene and Deputy Bob find Wally's secret weapon stash. Seems he was planning on going postal. After drinking the booze, Willie's now gone demon, and he gets his head lopped off but keeps on ticking. I feel like we're making up the rules of this thing as we go along.
God damn it, I'm not making these rules up!
The kid kills him for real, and this is one of the few racks in the film that I can actually show you. While that's going on, Roach offers Billy Zane the key. He makes a deal for his own safe passage, but you know what they say about deals with the devil.
Oh, Roach, there's just one more thing I forgot to mention. I lied.
Yeah, it doesn't end well for Roach. The collector now has his key, and an arrow in the eye. This is only a temporary setback for the demons, though, and Bob and Irene make the ultimate sacrifice with Wally's grenades. Now trapped in the attic, the Collector takes over Danny, and the kid mortally wounds Breaker. Breaker tells Geraldine she's now the Demon Knight, while also using his blood to refill the key. Handy. There's some more great practical effects work here. This kid looks like something straight out of John Carpenter's The Thing. The special effects were done by the show's crew, and they really outdid themselves for their Tales big screen debut. The Collector and Geraldine then square off for the final battle. She covers herself in blood and stabs him in the eye with the key. Too bad the whole eye thing doesn't work on higher demons.
That eyeball shit only works on low-level demons. I know, who makes up all these rules?
Oh, you didn't know that? The Collector then offers to spare Geraldine if she'll switch to Hell's side, but she's not having it. Then this happens.
You're really starting to piss me off!
I don't know, shooting fire out of your crotch generally means you have an STD where I come from. Rather than return fire from her own crotch, Geraldine instead spits blood in the Collector's face, and he goes out with a bang. Literally. This looks like another sort of nod to Hellraiser. But wait, there's more! Geraldine takes off on a bus with the key intact, but a new Collector is already on her trail. Naturally, after that, there's more nonsense with the Crypt Keeper, but does anyone care at this point? Demon Knight has the distinction of being the first and best of the 3 films to bear the Tales from the Crypt moniker. The others were Bordello of Blood and Ritual. This film clearly benefits from its excellent ensemble cast, but Billy Zane is the real MVP. Zane's the Collector is the heart and soul of Demon Knight, and some have suggested that his performance here actually helped him get his part in Titanic. That's amazing if it's actually true. When you add all of this up, the cast, the surprisingly clever script, the practical effects, and the Tales from the Crypt brand, it's hard to figure out why more people don't rave about this movie when talking about 90s horror films. It's a really good time. Have you seen Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight? If so, let me know what you thought of it in the comments section below. While you're down there, you should totally do me a solid and like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't worry, you're not signing over your soul or anything. Probably. I mean, maybe read the fine print, or don't. You're a grown-up. Make your own decisions. Oh, and check out some of my other videos. You'll find some of my favorites here on the screen. Thanks as always for your support. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters.